Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping in something that's really starting to make waves. AI agents.
Right.
We're moving beyond AI that just, helps out. We're talking about AI that can actually act on its own.
Exactly. Autonomous.
Their insights today, they're pretty fresh, coming from folks at Google Cloud and a major consulting firm. They've been looking closely at how things are shifting market-wise and technically, too.
Looking at migrating existing software, SaaS applications to these agent-based systems.
So the big question, let's unpack this. What exactly is an AI agent, and why is everyone suddenly talking about them?
Well, it's fascinating because we are, I think, genuinely entering a new phase, a new era of innovation and adoption here. It seems to be driven by three key trends.
Okay.
First, there's multimodality and thinking models. So AI isn't just text anymore, right? It's handling images, video, audio.
Right, it understands more types of input.
Exactly. And the thinking models part means they have deeper reasoning, better context awareness across all that, makes interactions much richer.
Okay, that's one. What's the second?
Second, and this is really our main focus today, is the agentic workflow.
Agentic workflow.
Yeah, this is where the AI gets truly autonomous. It can reason, plan, adapt. It's transforming how we work, really.
Okay, that sounds like the core of it. And the third?
The third is the knowledge frontier. Think about how AI changes the way we find and use information.
How so?
Well, imagine a big company with data scattered everywhere, old databases, new apps. Agents can potentially access, understand, and use all of it, breaking down those knowledge silos.
Ah, okay. So accessing everything. And this has evolved pretty quickly, hasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. So, think back just a couple of years. We were focused on basic LLM prompts like ChatGPT in 2022.
Right.
Then came things like retrieval augmented generation, RAG, to give them better knowledge grounding.
Connecting to real data.
Yeah. Then we started adding tools so they could take actions. And now the really big trend is moving towards not just single agents, but multi-agent systems.
Multiple agents working together.
Yes, and even remote agents collaborating across different frameworks, different platforms. That's where a lot of the cutting-edge work is happening.
So if we're talking about AI that acts, not just assists, what are the defining capabilities? What makes these new agents different?
Yeah, that's the key distinction. Moving beyond just assistance to actually, getting complex work done with less direct human guidance.
Okay.
And it's not just one thing. It's how these capabilities work together. It's the synergy. Imagine an AI that doesn't just do a task, but it strategizes, it learns, it collaborates almost like a human expert would.
Wow. So what are those core actions then?
There are really four key ones that define these sophisticated agents. First, autonomous action. They literally take the reins. Meaning they can execute whole tasks, complex workflows from start to finish without needing step-by-step instructions.
Okay, truly independent.
Second, reasoning and planning. They use these advanced models to make informed decisions, adapt if things change, basically thinking and planning before they act, much like a human would.
Like strategic thinking.
Exactly. Third is continuous learning. They get better over time. They learn from interactions, refine their strategies.
So they improve themselves.
Precisely. And finally, multi-agent collaboration. They can work together like a team of specialists, different agents with different skills collaborating to tackle really complex goals. This unlocks a whole new level of capability.
Okay, that paints a clear picture of what they do. But, for listeners trying to really get this, what's under the hood? What are the actual building blocks?
Right, the technical blueprint. It gets interesting here. Think of it like an agent has a brain, hands, a manager, and a job description, all running in a safe space.
Okay, break that down.
The brain is the generative AI model, like Gemini, OpenAI's models, Anthropic's. That's the reasoning engine.
The core intelligence.
Exactly. The hands are the tools. This is how they interact with the world, calling functions, APIs, accessing databases, maybe even talking to other remote agents.
So how they do things.
Right. Then there's the smart manager, the orchestration layer. This directs the traffic. Does the query go to the model, to a tool, to memory, short-term or long-term?
Conductor, basically.
Yeah, good analogy. The job description is the agent definition. That's where you tell it what its goals are, its instructions, its persona or profile.
What it's supposed to achieve.
And finally, all this runs in the agent runtime. That's the environment that manages the agent's whole life cycle, executing it, keeping track of it.
That does sound like quite a few moving parts. Is there maybe an easier way to visualize how these pieces fit together, an analogy, perhaps?
Yeah, absolutely. The best analogy I've heard, and I think it really clicks, is this. AI agents are like microservices for AI.
Microservices for AI. How so?
Well, think about interacting directly with an LLM today. It's a bit like writing source code and running it from a command line. It works, sure, but it's not really built for scale or, enterprise reliability.
Right, it's kind of raw.
Exactly. So an agent wraps the LLM for scalability, just like you wrap source code into a container image in the microservices world.
Okay, so the agent is like the container.
Sort of. The agent logic is like the containerized business logic. And the agent engine, that's the platform where they run. That's like your container platform, maybe Kubernetes or Cloud Run.
Ah, I see. The engine manages the running agents like Kubernetes manages containers.
Precisely. So if you picture an agent development kit, an ADK, with its orchestration and tools, that's your containerized logic. The agent engine provides the runtime, handling things like sessions, memory, identity, logs, all the stuff a platform needs to do.
Okay, that microservices analogy really clarifies things. It also makes me think, if they're like microservices, do they bring similar challenges, like debugging distributed systems or maybe security issues?
That's a really sharp question. And yes, absolutely. Some of those challenges definitely carry over, and we should touch on that.
But first, maybe for you listening, if you're thinking, wow, this sounds powerful, when should you actually consider building one of these agents? Are they right for every problem?
Good question. No, they're not always the answer, but they really shine in specific situations. They're particularly well suited for workflows where traditional methods just don't cut it, like rule-based systems that become too complex.
Okay.
So think about tasks that have been hard to automate before, things involving complex decisions, maybe some nuanced judgment, or handling lots of exceptions and edge cases.
Right, where the rules aren't straightforward.
Exactly. Or systems where the rules themselves are just a pain to maintain and update constantly. Agents offer more flexibility there.
And data.
Crucially, yes. Agents thrive when dealing with unstructured data, interpreting natural language, pulling meaning from documents, handling conversations. If your problem involves that kind of data, an agent is probably a really good fit. It offers a kind of flexibility that old-school automation just can't match.
That's a really clear breakdown of when an agent makes sense. So if we decide to build one, who's actually doing the building? And how do these agents fit into the bigger picture, the ecosystem?
Right, the ecosystem. It helps to think about different types of users here. On one hand, you have AI business users.
People who just want to use the agents.
Exactly. They probably need something like an agent gallery to find and deploy agents that are already built, maybe also an agent designer. A simple no-code or low-code tool to create basic agents for their own teams or for customers.
Okay, makes sense for business users. What about developers?
For developers, it's a lot more involved, naturally. They need optimized AI models, secure access to all sorts of enterprise data, web data, databases, SaaS platforms, internal software.
All the data sources we talked about earlier.
Yes, and they need strong tooling around that, plus a solid platform to actually build and run these agents in production. That means managed services, monitoring, testing, tracing, maybe even an agent garden with examples to speed things up.
An agent garden. I like that. Now, you mentioned earlier they collaborate like a team of experts. That wasn't just a metaphor, right? How do they actually talk to each other?
No, it's quite literal, and it relies on some key protocols. One really important one allows agents to dynamically find each other and collaborate, even if they were built using different toolkits.
So an agent built with Google's tools could talk to one built with, say, LangGraph.
Exactly. That's enabled by the A2A or agent-to-agent protocol. It's all about secure, standardized communication so they can pass tasks and information back and forth without needing to know the messy details of how the other agent was built.
Okay, standardized communication between agents.
Yeah.
What about between agents and their tools?
Yes. For interacting with the outside world, APIs, databases, etc., there's another crucial piece, the MCP, or Model Context Protocol.
MCP.
Think of it like a USB standard, but for AI tools.
A USB for tools.
Yeah. Instead of every agent needing a custom connector for every single tool it wants to use, MCP centralizes access. It standardizes the connection. So any agent that speaks MCP can connect to and use any tool that's exposed via MCP. It's a universal translator for tool usage.
That sounds incredibly powerful for making things interoperable. The potential here really does seem huge. But taking something this complex, this powerful, and actually getting it running reliably in production, that feels like where things often get tricky, right?
You've absolutely nailed a critical point there. It's true, a lot of promising agent projects tend to get, well, stuck in the development loop.
Why is that? What are the main hurdles?
There are several. We're dealing with complex architectures, first off.
Hmm.
Then there's the ongoing headache of maintenance. You can have blind spots in performance. Something's not quite right, but it's hard to pinpoint why.
Inconsistent behavior, maybe?
Exactly. Inconsistent behavior is a big one. Often, there's a knowledge gap between the developers creating the agent and the operations teams who have to run it reliably. And layered on top of all that are critical concerns around security, safety, data confidentiality.
Yeah, you can't mess that up.
You really can't. So the takeaway isn't just about cool features, it's realizing that scaling agents means you're building an operational capability. You need enterprise-grade reliability and security, moving AI from just a prototype to a real robust product.
So how do companies overcome that? What's the solution?
The solution really lies in building what's often called an enterprise agentic foundation.
An enterprise agentic foundation?
Yeah, it's basically a comprehensive platform designed specifically for production-ready agents. It provides all those necessary underlying capabilities: network security, proper authentication, safety filters, security checks, robust tracing and logging, monitoring, evaluation frameworks, ways to collect user feedback, tools for optimizing prompts, maybe even fine-tuning models.
So it's like taking all the best practices we learned from building reliable SaaS and microservices and adapting them for agents.
That's a perfect way to put it. It ensures agents can run at scale, reliably, and securely.
Okay, so now that we understand the how, the building blocks, the ecosystem, the production challenges and solutions, let's talk about the what. How are companies actually using these agents right now? Are there concrete examples?
Oh, absolutely. This isn't just theory anymore. Companies like Ranto, the consulting firm we mentioned, they're actively putting agents into production for major Fortune 500 clients.
Right.
They really focus on building custom solutions, and they stress how important that first successful AI use case is for building confidence across the organization.
Makes sense. Get a win early on.
Exactly. Looking broadly, the impact is already visible across different sectors. In healthcare, for instance, agents are speeding up disease prediction, accelerating drug discovery. Think about the pace of COVID vaccine development, that kind of acceleration.
Right, compressing timelines.
In transportation, we have autonomous vehicles, like Google's Waymo driving around San Francisco. That's agentic AI in action.
A very visible example.
Definitely. In the technology sector itself, AI-driven development is huge code generation, refactoring, debugging. Some claim it makes coding up to 5 times faster.
5 times?
Yeah. And AI-enabled testing, too. Ranto has something called Smart Test that automates generating test cases, running them, reporting results. We also see agents used in predictive analytics, algorithmic trading in finance, and they're enabling totally new kinds of user interfaces.
What about behind the scenes, like IT support?
Good point. IT support and infrastructure is another big area. Agents are starting to autonomously handle IT tickets, looking at the problem description, checking past history, consulting knowledge bases, and actually fixing the issue.
Without a human needing to intervene?
In many cases, yes, or at least doing the initial diagnosis and resolution attempt. Also, something called PHOPS, managing cloud financial operations, optimizing spending that's increasingly becoming a job for agents.
That's fascinating. And what about the impact on all the standard business software, the SaaS applications we see daily? You mentioned migration earlier.
Ah, yes. This is potentially one of the most transformative areas. Satya Nadella, Microsoft CEO, had that quote right. All these SaaS systems will be eaten for breakfast by agentic AI.
That's a bold statement. What does it mean in practice?
It means agents are starting to eat parts of these big SaaS systems. Think about all the manual data entry and repetitive tasks people do in ERP systems, CRMs, supply chain software, HR platforms.
Yeah, clicking through screens, copying and pasting.
Exactly. Agents are automating chunks of that. This frees up user salespeople, finance analysts, HR specialists to focus on the more strategic, intelligent parts of their jobs rather than the manual grind.
So the agent handles the routine tasks within the existing software.
Precisely. Ranto, for example, has their Smart Assist framework, and they have agents built on this already running in production. They shared a couple of really compelling examples.
Well, let's hear them.
Okay. One is called Partner Assist. Imagine you get a massive, complex request for proposal. An RFP may be hundreds, even 1,000 pages long.
Daunting.
Totally. You upload it, and the Partner Assist agent analyzes the whole thing. It summarizes it, identifies the key requirements and expectations, and this is crucial. It recommends which specific vendors are actually a good fit to send it to.
Ah, So it prevents wasting time sending RFPs to companies that can't possibly meet the needs.
Exactly. It saves everyone time and effort by targeting the right partners from the start.
That's smart. What's the other example?
The other one is Sales Assist. This agent ties into your CRM like Salesforce and maybe your HR system where sales quotas are tracked.
Yeah, okay.
A salesperson can just ask it questions conversationally like, what's my current quota, or how am I doing against my target this quarter?
And it pulls the data.
It pulls the data, but it goes further. Based on their performance and goals, the agent can actually suggest concrete actions. It might say, okay, based on your pipeline, you should focus on these specific companies this week, or here are 3 leads that look promising based on recent activity.
Wow, so it's not just reporting, it's providing actionable recommendations.
Exactly. It integrates data from different systems and turns it into proactive guidance to help the salesperson hit their numbers. I talked to one sales leader who said their team used to spend hours pulling data together before a single big client meeting. Now their sales assist agent does that groundwork in seconds. It gives them back valuable time for actual strategizing and connecting.
Those are powerful examples of agents augmenting human capabilities. So we've seen where agents are now, how they're built, how they're being used. Let's look ahead. What does this all point towards? Where are we going with these incredibly intelligent autonomous agents? And importantly, are there guardrails we need to think about?
Great questions. And yes, before we get carried away with the future possibilities, it's absolutely critical to address the guardrails first. Security, compliance, ethical implications.
Right. The responsible AI aspect.
Absolutely. The guiding principle has to be, fundamentally, that AI is for humans. Humans are not for AI. We need to ensure data privacy, safety, fairness, and responsible development are baked in right from the beginning.
Assuming we get that right, what does the future look like?
Well, with that crucial foundation in place, the predictions are pretty mind-blowing. We expect to see large-scale agent-to-agent A2A interactions become commonplace. Agents routinely talking to other agents, coordinating complex tasks across organizations, maybe even across industries, often without direct human oversight for the interaction itself.
A true digital workforce.
In a sense, yes. We'll also see widespread adoption. It's likely that almost everyone will have or interact with AI agents regularly. Being AI savvy might become as basic a skill as using a computer is today.
Everyone gets an agent assistant.
Potentially, yes. And perhaps one of the most fascinating predictions is the rise of self-healing agents.
Self-healing, what does that mean?
Imagine an agent running a critical process, say managing logistics or customer support. If it hits an unexpected error or a problem, instead of just failing or waiting for a human to fix it, it could potentially diagnose the issue itself, figure out a solution, and implement the fix autonomously.
Wow. That would be a huge leap for reliability.
A massive leap. And building on things like sentiment analysis, which agents already do, analyzing customer feedback for happiness, anger, frustration.
Right.
The journey towards genuine emotional intelligence in agents, while complex, doesn't seem impossibly far off. Understanding and responding appropriately to human emotional states.
That opens up a whole other dimension. Are there any sort of timelines or adoption figures being projected?
Some firms are making bold predictions. Deloitte, for instance, suggests 70% of organizations will be operationalizing AI in some form by 2025.
That's actually...
It is. They also predict 25% of companies will launch specific agentic AI pilots this year, growing to maybe 50% by 2027.
a rapid ramp up.
Very rapid. And their most ambitious prediction, that eventually 100% of business functions could be managed and optimized autonomously by AI systems, leading to, as they put it, an infinite number of intuitive interfaces.
Infinite number of interfaces managed entirely by AI.
Yeah.
That's quite a future to contemplate.
Wow, okay. We have really covered a huge amount of ground today, from, just defining what an AI agent even is to digging into their complex architecture, seeing how they're already being used in the real world, healthcare, IT, sales, and now looking at these, frankly, mind-bending predictions for the future.
It's moving incredibly fast.
It really is. The speed of change is just phenomenal, and it's undeniable that these agents are set to profoundly change how we work, how we interact with technology, maybe even how we live.
So, for you listening, think about those possibilities we just discussed. An agent that can fix itself. Or one that might understand human emotions. What kind of impact could that have on your daily life, on your work? And maybe start thinking about how you might leverage this rapidly evolving technology.
It's definitely something to ponder.
It certainly is. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.